All right, everybody, what's going on? And welcome to today's edition of SWAC Talk. This is the show we cover the SWAC inside and out. I'm your tour guide around the SWAC. See what else coming at you. And we're going to kind of talk a little bit about spring football. You know, that spring games four spring games take place yesterday. Not a lot known about those games. So I'm just going to kind of talk about some of the things I heard or saw, just scouring the interwebs. As things kind of come out more about these games. We'll talk about them more in the near future. But I just kind of wanted to put some things out there, from these four games. And those games are Alcorn, Alabama State, and Jackson State, Alabama A&M. So not going to really be a really in-depth video. Probably not even going to be that long. Just wanted to kind of talk about these games from what I know so far. Hopefully I can come up on some video from these games so I can kind of see what happened. But just kind of going off of what was reported. So with all that out of the way, man, y'all hit the socials. Facebook is Swag Talk, Twitter, Swag Talk 76, Instagram, Swag Talk, email, swagtalk76@gmail.com. Don't forget to like the video, share it. Feel free to comment your thoughts. And if you were at one of these games, man, drop a comment or hit me on my socials and give me some details, man, so we can kind of flesh this out a little bit more. But we're going to start off with Alabama A&M. The maroon and white game took place yesterday. This game actually went into overtime. It was tied at 21. Xavier Langford rallied the maroon team to tie the game at 21 as he connected with Dion Nelson with just under a minute left in regulation. The white team had the first possession, but they had a quarterback keeper that was stopped at the 2. The Marine team took over. Langford sealed the game with a quick toss to Duke Miller. If you know that name, he committed to Alcorn, went to Jackson State. Now he transferred to Alabama A&M. So he caught the winning touchdown for A&M. Final score: Maroon 28, White 21. Just a quote from Coach Maynor. He said it was a perfect day and perfect situation as we got a lot and we had a lot going on campus today. It was a great day to be a Bulldog. We had great weather and a great game overall. I am pleased. The number one key is that we got away injury free. We didn't have any major injuries. That is what spring is for, is to set the younger guys, is for the younger guys to get the opportunity to get some reps to see what they can do. The transfers that we brought in the spring, we wanted to get those guys out here and see them work. So now we will evaluate. And now we will evaluate is what we need to do as we gear up to fall camp. The maroon and white spring game concluded a busy day on campus as A&M's baseball and softball teams played Valley, and the Department of Athletics welcomed in new head coach Dawn Thornton from UAPB. So that was a busy day on the Hill. A&M concluded their spring practice on Saturday and now turned their attention to their season opener August 31st at Auburn. This is courtesy of the Alabama A&M Athletics website. So just kind of went through it as they stated it. Like I said, they didn't give a lot of note. They didn't really give any stats or anything. But Xavier Langford had 2 big touchdowns that were reported, and a pretty entertaining game. So hopefully I can come up on some videos so I can kind of see some things that happen. And maybe when we get to Swag Smoke, might go a little bit more in detail on some of these games. So as I get more, I'm going to share more. But I kind of just wanted to, go give these games a little recap since they've taken place, and I do the same thing next week. Next, we'll talk about Jackson State. The Tigers had their spring game yesterday, and defense actually had a good day. But Jacoby and Morgan also had a solid day at quarterback. And again, this is from their athletic site. Taken from the JSU athletic site, go JSUTigers.com, and some information from the Clarion Ledger. So I'm kind of pulling a couple things from both places. Quarterback play was pretty solid on the day. Jacoby and Morgan was 13 of 21 for 293 yards and 2 touchdowns. He appears to continue to hold on to the job as the main guy which is definitely a good thing if you're a JSU fan. He finished the season strong, and you kind of expect for him to continue to take those steps forward and take the job and run with it. Zy McDonald, who started for the blue team, he was 10 of 22 for 130 yards. He is a guy that can throw on the run, and he looks to be a guy who can maybe change up some things whenever they put him in. Freshman Ethan Terrell went 3 for 10 for 11 yards. TC Teller said, if you think about a kid like Ethan, he should still be in high school right now. He was an early enrollee for us. He showed flashes the first week of spring ball. Wide receiver was also a place where they have some talent and it showed some spark. Coach Taylor wasn't really happy with the drops during the spring game, but he saw some things that he liked. Eric Simmons had 2 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown, and newcomer Jamil Gardner had 5 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown. Other receivers, Jonas Portillion, he had 5 catches for 58 yards. Kobe Paul, 4 for 78. Leading receiver on the season, Fabian McCray, he finished with 2 for 52. Rico Powers also had 2 catches for 30 yards. Coach Taylor said it is just his approach every day. Speaking of Powers, he comes to work every day with his lunchbox, and this is what he does from the time he gets there until the time he leaves. He really wants to be a pro, and he has the tools to be a pro. He's big, fast, and physical guy. And the last thing they kind of said was just another year in the program makes a big difference. Coach Taylor said that being a head coach for a year makes things easier. He knows what new football coaches in the SWAC are going through. Then he stated, you look at it, we have another top 5 signing class. The SWAC coaches are kind of where I was last year, kind of uphill battle, fighting through, trying to build rosters, trying to keep players there. So with us having so many guys coming back, I think we are right where we need to be as a football team going forward. JSU opens their season on the road against ULM at 7 p.m. on August 29th. Jackson State's home opener is September 7th against Lane, and the SWAC opener is September 28th against Texas Southern on the road. So, as you can see, JSU seems to have come out of this spring game pretty solid. They are in obviously a better place than they were coming out of the spring last season because they didn't necessarily have to bring in so many guys. Last season they really had to kind of start from scratch and put together a roster. This season they kind of filling in some of the pieces that they lost from last year, and they'll be a better team moving forward. But like I said, coming out of the spring with a solid quarterback, running back room should be solid. Defense was pretty aggressive yesterday. They made some plays. They were able to get out after the quarterback and make some plays in the backfield. So, that definitely helps. I think this team will be better. They weren't bad by any stretch last season, but I think they'll be better this season. And we'll continue to see how they do as they move forward. The next game that I have a bit of information about is Alabama State. This is taken from the Montgomery Advertiser. Alabama State held their black and gold spring game on Saturday. Third-year coach Eddie Robinson Jr. And his team kicked off the 2024 campaign, dazzling fans with a new offensive skill, with new offensive skill players acquired during the offseason. The gold team, which was the Alabama State offense, was dominant and won the spring game 34-24. Here were some of the takeaways from the game. The first half was dominant on offense. They came out firing, scoring on his first 3 possessions en route to taking an early 21-0 lead in the second quarter. Running back DeQuan Kinsey netted the first score of the game with a 5-yard touchdown run on the opening drive. Andrew Body threw his first touchdown at Alabama State in the spring game, launching a 70-yard touchdown to Eric Horn on the next series. In the closing minutes of the first quarter, Jamari Heitclaw sprinted down the sideline for a 35-yard touchdown score, extending the lead to 21-0. Team Black, which was the defense, only allowed a field goal in the second quarter as the offense led 24-6 at the half. Some of the standouts on offense, Andrew Body obviously had a really solid day. Also at quarterback, Zachary Sims and Javius Langford also gave fans a preview of what they could see in the fall. Body got to start and led the offense to touchdowns in his first 2 series. He completed 4 of his 7 passes with a touchdown. Sims also showed flashes of being a possible starter. leading offense down the field for a second half score. Wide receiver Bakari Daly was doing it all from the slot position, catching passes out the backfield and getting down the field. His open field vision allowed for several yards after catch opportunities. Horn and tight end Derek Harden also made some key plays down the field. That duo was unstoppable for a majority of the afternoon and helped the Hornets open up the running game. The back running back room seems to be solid. Kinsey, Highclaw, and Nazareth Bryan also all finished combined for 4 touchdowns. Starter and Anthony Gates looks to be the front runner for the starting role as he broke a few huge runs throughout the day. Defensively, defense got off to a slow start, but they got better as the game went on, and they showed why they were the number one scoring defense in the conference. In the third quarter, safety Kane Lewis got the first takeaway of the game, intercepting Adam Wallace. Stephon Young Roll dominated the line, and Devin Davis. They finished with a pair of sacks and quarterback hurries. So, as you can see, this team seems to be improving offensively. Like I said, we'll see more as we get into the season. But being able to score points on that defense, even in a spring game type of situation, is definitely a big boost for this offense. Because last season offense didn't really have the explosiveness. They seem to be having that. When you can get those big plays against a solid defense, that helps you with momentum and confidence. And so we should see a better offense from Alabama State. We should see an offense that's going to score more points, and that defense is going to be solid. So I don't want to start, I don't want to start the hype train on any team, but I think you're going to see a lot of hype coming out of the Gump about Bama State, and they put in the work. They seem to be to put in some good pieces. That East Division is going to be a battle. They may have put their name in that mix. I'm not going to say that in the spring. I'm not going to say that in the spring by anybody. But, once we get into the season, we'll see where they stand. But right now, they are showing signs of development, which is a huge thing. That was always the question about Bama State was the offensive side of the ball. They appear to be finding those answers, but we'll obviously know more as we get there. But those 3 games were really the games that I had the most information on. We didn't really find a whole lot on Alcorn. I do know that Tavares Griffin, the tight end, is going to be a guy that's going to be used all over the field. He actually ran out the backfield a little bit in that game. Defense made some plays. Offense had some big plays. Coach Thomas is going to have those guys ready, and we'll see where they stand as we get closer to the season. But I don't really have a lot of information on Alcorn. I tried to find some stuff before I got on the air. I didn't really find a whole lot. But, it's a spring game, so you don't really get a lot of stuff from multiple places. But the more I find out or read or hear, I'll share it here. Next week, we have more spring games. On the 13th, we have Valley, FAMU, TSU, Prairie View, and Southern. I will be at the Southern game, so I'm going to try to do a little content while I'm there. And, of course, I have a recap afterwards. So y'all keep it locked here. And that's going to do it for us today. We'll continue to talk about these spring games after they happen. And we got SWAC Smoke coming at you live on Thursday, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. So keep it locked here with us, and we'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.